I'm Danielle Bryant. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Very proud, fourth generation native to the state of Arizona. I taught third grade and then moved to Austin and was in Austin ISD for several years, where I taught fifth grade and was an assistant principal. District put out, hey, we're doing a master's cohort in partnership with Texas State for people to be able to apply. So I got in and it was so transformational. I fell in love with Texas State. I was able to really lean into the policy parts of why I got into education and into teaching in the first place during that. And during my master's, my focus and my thesis was on the way that teacher bias impacts students of color, specifically when it comes to their educational outcomes. I was really privileged to be able to dive in because I took a part-time job at the university while I was finishing up my dissertation, and that was during the most recent ledge cycle. So back in July, I turned to my husband and I was like, we have 100 days. I'm going to exhaust myself and do whatever I can. So when it came time for the actual legislative session to start, you could just feel that tension. You could feel that intensity of we have to fight our asses off, or a lot of really awful policy is going to start becoming a reality for people across the state. The day of the voucher hearing, they had somebody from Arizona from the Heritage Foundation on that panel, watching as the committee had no rebuttal to the lies that he was just directly telling. I tried in my testimony then, it was correcting him on, I actually lived in Arizona and I watched this go down and none of this is true. But I had 2 minutes, so I was like, I actually have to prove my point as a Texan here. It was incredible seeing so many different people fight so hard for public education. I know that public education is the only path to upward mobility for people. I know that it is the only way to secure a thriving democracy. And seeing people fighting for that together was so special and magical almost, where the energy in the room was really incredible. People from that I taught with, seeing them there, parents that I had worked with, different organizing groups I was getting involved with, and even people from some rural districts, some superintendents from really small school districts. It's really hard to have hope right now, but that felt very hopeful for me. And I truly believe, and I think we see this time and time again, that as you see the erosion of public education, you too see the erosion of democracy. A lot of the work that TFN is doing around book bans, around Christian nationalism in schools and having the 10 Commandments posted in public schools are all of these different attempts from different angles to make sure public education cannot be trusted. I think in times of hopelessness, turning to one another is the only answer, full stop, period. And organizing gives us the tools to do that with people that maybe we weren't turning to previously. I think the first time I went to a TFN event, I just felt like anybody could go. And that kind of welcoming value is something that I hold really dearly. It's I know that I can just send a text or go online and I'll be able to show up. People will tell me what to do and I will have an action that I can accomplish that day. And as somebody whose activism is really rooted in action, I found just a really nice alignment there. Being able to have those organizations to turn to, I think is what gives me hope and gives other people hope, because instead of doom scrolling or just reading another news headline, it gives them one thing to do. And that's always my pitch to people is what is one thing you can do today? Can you call Lloyd Doggett's office? Can you send an email to a local representative? Can you become a VDR to register some voters for the upcoming election? Can you post a story on your social media about the upcoming election or about an issue that's going on, or how to help people who have been targeted from ICE raids? Being able to make those connections, I think it builds community on its own. I truly believe that Texas is not a deeply hateful state. I think it is a deeply gerrymandered state, and I see in the future, in a hopeful future, that people are participating and they see that at the individual level, you can still make a really big difference. And at that individual level, we can all keep fighting for each other.